This is Ira Gorlick, and this lecture is on rationality and commerce. I have a couple of quotes here that I like. Individuals maximize welfare as they conceive it, whether they be selfish, altruistic, loyal, spiteful, or masochistic. This is Gary Becker. And of course, Abraham Lincoln, you can fool some of the people all of the time and all of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all the people all of the time. So there exists a thing called rational choice theory. And that's an economic principle that assumes that individuals always make prudent and logical decisions that provide them with the greatest benefit or satisfaction and that are in their highest self-interest. The key terms is prudent and logical. Rational choice theory assumes that we make prudent and logical decisions. And most mainstream, and this is important, most mainstream economic assumptions and theories are based on rational choice theory. A key aspect of rational choice theory is information, of which I'm going to spend a lot of time talking in the upcoming lectures. And in economic terms, we often talk about information in terms of perfect information. In net neutrality terms, we talk about information in terms of transparency, and I'm also going to talk a lot about that too. As remember, when I talk about net neutrality, transparency is my most important thing that I want. When it comes to making decisions, we use all available information and weigh cost and benefits to make a rational choice that will help us achieve our goals. That's essentially what a rational choice is. This is known as maximizing utility. Rationality isn't the same for everyone. It is based on an individual's context and constrained by time, income, cognitive ability, and access to information. Remember I talked about in the terms when we define commerce. Commerce, the value of something, is defined by the individual and is relative to the context. If I'm hungry, I may value something more than if I'm not hungry. Rational choice theory says we make rational, utility-maximizing decisions. But I actually don't agree with this. I think we often make irrational decisions. Why? In commerce, we don't always have all the information we need to make the best information possible. As remember, and I talked about in the introduction, things like confirmation bias, selective perception, optical illusions, and other drivers that drive not logic or reason. Commerce is more like a card game with hidden information than a chess game where there is no hidden information. Does that make sense? In terms of a card game like poker, there's a lot of hidden information. But in chess, everybody can see all the pieces. Everybody knows all the moves. There's no hidden information. And research shows that people might drive to another store to save $10 on a $100 purchase, but they would not drive to another store to save $100 on a $1,000 purchase. We don't often make rational choices. As part of that, a whole field of study has come up called behavioral economics. Behavioral economics is primarily concerned with the bounds of rationality of economic agents. Behavioral models typically integrate insights from psychology, neuroscience, and microeconomic theory. In so doing, these behavioral models cover a wide range of concepts, methods, and fields. Behavioral economics is sometimes discussed as an alternative to neoclassical economics. I'm not sure I agree with that, but it is sometimes discussed that way. The study of behavioral economics includes how market decisions are made and the mechanisms that drive public choice. The use of behavioral economics in U.S. scholarly papers has increased in the last few years. There are three major themes in behavioral finances. Heuristics. People often make decisions based on approximate rules of thumb and not strict logic. Framing. The collection of antidotes and stereotypes that make up the mental emotional filters individuals rely on to understand and respond to events. And frankly, I'm going to spend a lot of time when I talk about communications in some of my other classes on framing. And then market inefficiencies. These include mispricings or non-rational decision making. Both net neutrality opponents and proponents can fall into this kind of thinking. People who are supporting net neutrality or against net neutrality may be making that support one way or the other, not on logic, but on their, on their biases and on their emotion. And I think Ted Cruz would be an example of this. I think Ted Cruz's position is based more on emotion than logic. Now, this is important in terms of where we're at. There are many economic theories that have come and gone, and many of those theories have been proven to be certainly wrong, despite their continued influence. Stephen Hawking said, "The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it's the illusion of knowledge." Mark Twain, "It's easier to fool people than convince them they've been fooled." So going back to the learning objective, what is the optimum role of the community in managing the internet? We need to be careful that we do not come up with an answer just because it's easy and supports what we already believe. And this is absolutely critical. We have to understand that the internet is a very interesting and unique thing, and we shouldn't just throw things at it because it's what we believe. And again, going back to Ted Cruz, he's against regulations, so naturally he thinks that any regulations are bad. So the next lecture I'm going to talk about information, knowledge, and transparency.